Welcome to the Rogers Center. It's high above Rogers Center, CN Tower. Some of the people up on the edge walk. It is a cloudy night, but the roof is open for the time being. The Blue Jays will welcome in the Chicago White Sox. It's a 4-game series with the AL Central leading Chicago White Sox. Rajay Davis had some day yesterday, tied his career high with 5 RBIs and made what may be the best defensive catch ever at Rogers Center. Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox have a 2-game lead over the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central. Take a look at his lineup now. Alejandro Diaz is in center field. Kevin Youkilis, third baseman. Adam Dunn having a big year with power. And Alex Rios, the former Blue Jay, against his former team, is hitting .333 with major damage. 7 doubles and 5 home runs, and he's driven in 12. The DH tonight is the catcher, A.J. Pierzynski, who's having a career season. Alexi Ramirez, Diane Viciedo, Tyler Flowers, and Gordon Beckham are set to take on Carlos Villanueva.
And Carlos Villanueva goes to the mound for the Blue Jays, 6-2 on the season. He's been awfully good. The 2 losses in his last 2 starts, and those were not really bad starts at Seattle and at Tampa Bay. You see he handles right-hand hitters as well as left-handed hitters along the way. Keeps men off base. Does a nice job in shutting down the running game as well. And so Carlos will try to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible. And behind Carlos defensively here this evening, Blue Jays have a lot of youth out there, and that will be the theme at least for some time. Rajay Davis in left field. Anthony goes with that speed in center. And Moises Sierra, who has a terrific arm in right field. In the infield, left to right, Vizquel at third. Yunel Escobar playing a solid shortstop. Kelly Johnson and David Cooper at first base. Jeff Mathis will be behind the plate. And again, Moises Sierra, a guy you want to watch with his throws, has a very good throwing arm. And this young man not doing too bad a job with the bat to begin the season. 10 for 29, not the season, but his major league career.
Sierra had 3 hits for the 2nd time in his young big league career. 3 hits in yesterday's game, and we are set to go. Center fielder Alejandro Diaz will lead things off. Here's the first pitch from Villanueva. It's in there for a strike. We are underway. Diaz, a .286 hitter. He has 6 home runs and he's driven in 43. I also like to keep him off the base. He has 21 steals this season. White Sox coming off a 9-game homestand. They went 5-4 on that homestand. Villanueva, we mentioned last time out, just 1 bad inning. He had a bad inning down in Tampa Bay, and that cost him. All 3 runs he gave up came in the 3rd inning against the Rays, and that would saddle him with a loss. Foul back, gets 2-2.
And 1 bad inning against Tampa Bay is about all it takes with that great pitching staff of theirs.
He was matched up against Alex Cobb, who went 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, just 1 run. So Villanueva ended up losing that ball game 3-2. Here's the 2-2 to Diaz. Good breaking ball. Boy, that hard slider. He uses that so often with 2 strikes, and he gets the first strikeout of the night.
And now it's time for the scouting report, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Carlos Villanueva is not a guy who will throw a ton of fastballs. Yes, he'll lead with the fastball and tries to throw the 4-seamer most of the time. The changeup, likely his best pitch when you talk to the catchers of the Blue Jays, has the slider, over the top curveball, and both the slider and curveball as well as the change can come up with a lot of his strikeouts.
Kevin Youkilis, who has really been a valuable pickup. Youkilis has made 36 starts at third base, and that was a big void for the White Sox. Third base, they weren't getting any production whatsoever before they acquired Kevin Youkilis. Ball just off the plate inside. It's 2-0. Youkilis was not a very popular guy because he wasn't playing in Boston, and Bobby Valentine and he were having their problems. But he has found a home here with the White Sox. 3-0.
Pretty easy to find a home when you start swinging the bat very well, driving in game winner after game winner, and that's what Youkilis did once joining the White Sox.
And he gets on with a 4-pitch walk. A 1-out walk comes after the strikeout. That's one thing you want to avoid with Adam Dunn coming up. Dunn having a more typical season this year than last. 31 home runs, 76 driven in, and a .203 average. That's pretty typical for Adam Dunn. He'll drive in a lot of runs, but he also strikes out a lot. Big shift on the infield. Escobar, the shortstop, stays on the left side of second. That ball is driven toward the gap in right. Sierra over. He'll make the catch. Dunn might have caught it off the end of the bat. So now Alex Rios, the former Blue Jay, steps to the box.
Apparently not a whole lot of love here for Alex, but he's putting up a love-worthy season in Chicago.
He's had a great year. Batting .318 with 18 homers and 67 RBI. Rios is back in right field, and I think that has a lot to do with his comfort level and the reason he's had a good offensive season. It's a strike from Villanueva.
See the velocity there, 88 on the fastball from Carlos, so he can't dominate with that pitch. What he does when he's successful with it, though, is spot it very well, and that one right on the edge.
Ball missed down and away. It's a ball and a strike. I think one thing that's a real strength of Villanueva is that he knows himself. He's not going to try to throw it 95 miles an hour. He knows he can't be predictable, and he has to continue to use all of his pitches.
I asked Jeff Mathis before the game what he thought were the best pitches for Carlos, and he went immediately where I thought he would. He said changeup is the best pitch. That's the pitch he can throw from behind in the count anytime, get key strikeouts. And Carlos Villanueva, surprisingly, striking out about 9.5 per 9 innings.
There's the changeup. Vizquel dives and goes to second for the force out. Palmer Vizquel, making his fourth start at third, makes it look easy to get Villanueva out of the first. Once again, the defense backing up the starters. Yesterday it was Rajay Davis. Today already Vizquel at third. Davis drove in 5 and tied his career high in RBIs. Kelly Johnson, Edwin Encarnacion. David Cooper continues to swing the bat well. His career numbers against Chicago, he's 7 for 16. It's a .438 clip with a double and a home run. Escobar's back in the lineup after being hit by a couple of pitches on Saturday night. Sierra, Vizquel, Mathis, Anthony Ghost is the center fielder.
On the mound for the White Sox, right-hander Jake Peavy, former Cy Young Award winner in the National League with the Padres. He will challenge you with that fastball.
And Davis goes after the first pitch and flies out to left. Viciedo has it. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Behind Peavy defensively here this evening for the White Sox. And they've been playing good solid baseball. Viciedo, De Aza, and Rios in the outfield. Alex Rios again having that fine season in the infield, left to right. Euclid at third. Ramirez, Beckham, and Dunn. Adam Dunn not their everyday first baseman. Flowers not their everyday catcher, but he's behind the dish. And again, Alex Rios with the great numbers, and he can still run, therefore still plays a solid outfield.
Peavy jumps ahead of Kelly Johnson with the first pitch strike. Oh, and shoot.
Where a lot of pitchers like when they fall behind, and it's that sure fastball count where hitters will guess all over the heater. Peavy will go ahead and come with heater a lot of the time and just put a little extra on it with that wrist flip right at the last instant, and they say just a lot of those pitches will be fouled off.
Fastball up and in. Peavy beat the Blue Jays back on the 6th of July at U.S. Cellular Field. He gave up 1 run on 5 hits over 7 1/3. And it didn't start out very well for him in that last start. It was a real battle. This was a chopped ball up the line, and it'll go into foul ground. In that game back in July, he just didn't have his good stuff, and it was a real battle for him, but he never gave in. He kept standing out there trying to figure out what was going on. He stranded 6 Blue Jays in the first 4 innings. And he eventually figured it out and would give Robin Ventura 7 1/3, just 5 hits.
That particular night you mentioned, Buck, very different lineup for the Blue Jays. They had Brett Laurie and Colby Rasmus at the top. They were followed by Jose Bautista. Edwin was the cleanup man. Adam Lynn was in there and had a couple of hits on that night. JP Arencibia was still playing, so a very different look Blue Jays now. And there's that little slider down and in, so tough for the left-hand hitter.
Kelly Johnson strikes out. That ball starts on the inside corner and breaks down and in. Peavy has retired the first 2 he's faced. Edwin Encarnacion serving as the DH again. Edwin's been battling a heel problem. It's really kind of aggravated his approach both at the plate and in the field, but in order to get him off his feet a little bit, John Farrell has put him in a DH slot. Ball on the strike. One thing I love about Peavy is how quickly he works.
Likes to get the ball in play, and he'll challenge both sides of the plate. He'll run the fastball both directions.
Ball is hit high and deep into right. Rios on the run, on the track, has room and makes the catch right up against the right field fence. Encarnacion gave it a ride. Peavy retires the Blue Jays in order in their half of the first on just 9 pitches.
The Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Chicago White Sox in the first game of a 4-game set. A.J. Pierzynski tonight, the DH. Pierzynski is having a career season. 23 home runs already. Goes after that first pitch off the plate, and Villanueva was a hit. Pierzynski's 35 years old. He'll be a free agent at the end of the season, and it'll be interesting to see how the White Sox handle his potential free agency.
As good as he's been with the bat this year. Still questions about his defensive intensity. Pitches in the dirt and such. Still throws pretty well. The guy has always had a pretty good throwing arm. How do you think that he would be perceived as a free agent by other clubs?
I think anytime you can get this combination of a winning catcher, and he won with the World Series in 2005 against Houston, and some power, I think he's always going to be appealing.
And that power seemingly getting better and better with age.
Against the Blue Jays, he's had a good season. He's a guy that has always come up with key hits for the White Sox. But then again, on the free agent market, how attractive is a 35-year-old catcher?
And that's the reason I asked the question. And a guy that really is that offensive catcher, is he the guy that a lot of clubs want to build around? Maybe American League where you can catch some and DH some.
Gets jammed. Little pop up towards second. Kelly Johnson makes the catch. That's the first out of the top of the second. Alexi Ramirez, the shortstop, will step in. A little bit of a reunion before the game. Alexi Ramirez got a chance to say hello to Adeiny Hechavarria. They are friends, and Hechavarria and Ramirez both from Cuba. And I asked Adeiny, you know Ramirez? He goes, he's my friend. They obviously have a lot in common, having come from Cuba, defected from Cuba, now both hopeful of having long careers as shortstops in the big leagues.
Everything you find out about Hechavarria defensively, people will tell you he has the skills to be as good as anybody, maybe the best in this game. The question is, with a guy as good as Escobar in front of him, does he begin his big league career as a shortstop once he's a full-fledged major leaguer, or is it maybe at second base?
It's always a possibility. Asdrubal Cabrera is probably the most recent example of that. He came up and played second base in Cleveland before moving over to shortstop as an everyday player. And it's not unusual to have a middle infielder do that. Ramirez waits back on the breaking ball, hits it high and deep into center, but goes right on the edge of the warning track, makes the catch.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of a time element involved when you're talking about Hechavarria and him becoming a shortstop.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there is a possibility of him maybe starting out, at least competing for a everyday spot at second base next year. Kelly Johnson is not signed for next season, and that's a possibility. Diane Viciedo, the left fielder, a notorious first pitch swinger, and Villanueva aware that busted him inside with a heater.
Staying just momentarily on Hechavarria, he did a nice job at third base defensively and getting a couple of starts there.
There's a changeup off the end of the bat. Escobar from behind second. What a play. That's the reason Hechavarria might have to play second. Escobar has range and a great arm, and he's showing his arm strength from deep behind second base. Gets a lot on the throw and throws out Viciedo. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD Canada, the TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. There's a great perspective right down there along the first base line. David Cooper continues to bat in the cleanup spot. 282 average for Cooper. Hits this ball down the right field line. That's trouble. One hop up against the wall. Rios has a great arm. Cooper headed towards second, and Rios throws him out. Alex Rios with his 6th assist throws a strike to David Cooper. If you're going to gamble, it's a good time to gamble. Lead off the inning, but Rios made a great play, and obviously he knows this right field corner.
It's such a challenge when you hit a ball that goes up against the wall, regardless of where it is and where that defensive player is. David Cooper had to feel like, I need to get 2 on this ball, but I think already well before there with that very limited speed, David knew that he was in trouble.
Rios with that strong arm threw a strike to second. Rios and Viciedo in right and left respectively have good arms. Viciedo has 9 assists. Rios now with 6. A little flare in the right. Rios comes in and now makes an easy catch. 2 down. Fans, the Hit a Home Run contest is back. Every time Toronto hits a home run, you can win a big audio home theater system and big TVs like an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quadron. To enter, visit www.hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Moises Sierra looking for his first big league home run. Would love to make someone a winner out there. Sierra had his second 3-hit game of his young career yesterday afternoon. He got hits in his first 3 at-bats, finished up 3 for 5 on a night. Had his 4th hit possibly taken away in the 6th on a good play by Jason Nix at second. What do you like about Sierra so far in his limited at-bats?
The way he drives the ball to right field, using center field as well. Doesn't seem to try to pull all the time, and yet has what would seem to be the potential for some great power. He's a big, strong guy. Looks like a good hitter, well advanced.
Fights that one off and stays on.
The funny thing is, you look at the numbers of Moises Sierra at AAA, and they're not as good as those of some of the other guys that have struggled with the bat coming to the big leagues. And yet he steps in here in the big league situation and looks like he's completely comfortable.
Reaches for that one, pokes it up the middle. Ramirez, what an acrobatic effort. But Sierra runs too well. I mean, he threw that thing before he got fully turned around and threw it on the money at first.
Like the alligator in the pond, and he's just come up with something, just spins around and makes that throw. I do not believe that he was even seeing first base. I think that was all by feel. Yeah, Peavy's saying, I've got to make that play myself. That's the 5th infielder on the mound, and a lot of times that 5th infielder just gets lost.
Yeah, Peavy said, I should have caught that ball. Hit off the end of the bat. Sierra with a 2-out base hit. Omar Vizquel takes a first pitch strike from Jake Peavy.
You know, and we talk about Moises Sierra, and you mentioned the speed going down the line. That's another aspect to really like about him. But that big body says, I wonder what he could become in terms of the power game.
Vizquel fouls it up. Dwayne Murphy saw Sierra when he was a 16-year-old when he first came into the organization, and he always had high expectations for Sierra as a hitter. Murph always felt that Sierra had an awful lot of upside, and we're starting to see that. Vizquel in a hole 0-2. Pops it up over near the Blue Jays dugout, and that's going to fall safely and bounce out of play. Euclid just didn't have much of a shot. Ball wouldn't hit that high in the air.
Pretty good size foul territory here at the Rogers Center when you're talking right by the dugouts. And if you don't get much air under that pop fly, tough on the corner guys, especially when you're playing as Youkilis is, to pull a little bit. And that's maybe a bit surprising with Vizquel at the plate.
0-2, 2 outs. This one is pulled in the right. Lazy fly ball for Alex Rios. Rios recorded all 3 outs of the inning. He threw out David Cooper for out number 1. Fly ball from Escobar and Vizquel. Take on the Texas Rangers. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans to enter Rogers Center will receive a Ricky Romero bobblehead doll. Ricky's bobblehead is the third of 3 bobbleheads in this year's collectible set. The others include Brandon Morrow and Yunel Escobar. For tickets, call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Tyler Flowers, the catcher. Flowers making his 29th start of the season behind the plate. Gives A.J. Pierzynski half the day off. Flowers has some power. Has 3 home runs. Likes the ball out over the plate. And you've seen Jeff Mathis moved inside trying to crowd him with that fastball.
It's got to be nice when you're a catcher. Pierzynski is a guy that will be back there as often as possible. But when you get that half a day off, as you call it, and you're the DH, much easier than, in my opinion, going to the bullpen where you work and work and work.
Yeah, no question about it. And nowadays, backup catchers rarely go to the bullpen. Most teams have a couple of guys that will go down there and catch. And you get a day off, and for Pierzynski, DH, it's got to be a joy. Oh, chases that outside breaking ball. Strikeout, second strikeout for Villanueva.
Talk about the sequence, the pitches that Carlos has, and he has them all. And I think because he has all 4 of the normal pitches and great command of them, he's had terrific success as a starter, out of the bullpen, either way. Very valuable guy for the Blue Jays.
I think that's the key word for Villanueva. He's valuable. He can do so many things for you. Gordon Beckham, the second baseman. That's with 1 out.
As good as Carlos has been as a starter this season, and he made 13 starts a year ago, a career high. Is he a starter when the Blue Jays go to spring training next year?
I don't think he will start that role. I think he'll go back to the long man role and work probably a few more innings than a regular reliever. How about that? 3 straight fastballs, and he strikes out Gordon Beckham. He surprised Beckham with a good heater.
You know, I think part of the value with Carlos is you can designate him early as a reliever and still know that you have him. He'll be ready if the time comes, and it likely comes, where you need him to start.
Yeah, and I think that's the value in his presence on this team. First of all, he's a great teammate. He really understands who he is as a pitcher and keeps himself ready. Back to the top of the order. That's that slow curveball. His curveball will be down in the high 60s, low 70s. The slider will be touching 80 from time to time. It's difficult to tell which is which if you just watch the break, but the slider's a much harder pitch. How about that? That swing back fastball catches the inside corner.
I always think of Greg Maddux when I see that fastball that started at the left-hand hitter and then let it dive back to the plate.
He got Diaz in the first on a slider with 2 strikes. Let's see if he goes right back to that same pitch. There it is. Did it again. Diaz got the same pitch the second time. Same results. Carlos Villanueva strikes out the side in the third. Jeff Mathis, the catcher, will start things off. Then Anthony goes back to the top of the order. Rajay Davis coming off a career-tying 5 RBIs yesterday.
Hails from Alabama, and this guy is a gamer. He'll come at you with the fastball. He'll throw it in fastball counts, has the other pitches to go with it, but he is 6th in the league in innings pitched, 4th, or rather has 4 complete games on the season, 2nd best in the league, and a guy who loves to be on the hill and will compete with the best of them.
Jeff Mathis goes after the first pitch fastball and fouls it off the glove of Flowers. Mathis has done most of the catching since J.P. Arancibia has gone on a disabled list with that broken hand. Average at 220. That good flat slider that PB throws so effectively.
It's a funny thing you see through the years, and you see it year after year with this club or that, but a guy who will be the backup catcher is doing a great job with the bat as well. And then he gets a chance to play every day, and it becomes more of a battle offensively for that player than you might have guessed.
Yeah, it sure does. And you know what? That just is a great reminder of how difficult it is to be a starting player at any position.
Yeah.
If you're a regular player and play 135, 150 games during the regular season, you're a good player. Just to be able to play every day. And Mathis gets a piece of it and stays alive. When you look at those guys that go to the ballpark every day and know they don't even have to look at the lineup card, they're going to play every single day. Well, you really got to tip your cap to those guys.
No question. And then you run into that rare guy that does it 150 plus games behind the plate, and he's able to maintain his strength throughout the course of that season.
I think that's the one thing that's very appealing about A.J. Pierzynski is his durability.
Yeah. That is probably one of the key words that comes to mind with A.J. Pierzynski for me. I don't view him as one of the very best of the defensive catchers, but he'll be back there day in, day out.
Bouncing ball, big hop for Youkilis. Mathis is retired. Hey fans, every time Toronto hits a home run in the 4th inning, a lucky winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp. Big is too small a word for it. One out, number 9 hitter is Anthony Gose. He shortened up to show bunt. The ball sailed down and away. Gose has been practicing his bunting every day with Torey Lovullo here at home, trying to get comfortable with that part of his game.
Much as I like the pop that I've seen on occasions in the bat of Anthony Gose, he's so inconsistent in making contact on major league breaking balls. Love to see him also find the ability to hit the ball, stay on top of the ball, hit it on the ground, hit it sharply, and then kind of learn that power game a little later. But if he could put it on the ground on the left side, it would seem to me that he could beat out a good percentage of those ground balls.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the goal, is to be able to put the bat on the ball. He shows bunt, that ball hits him. He squared around, and now the umpire at third is asked whether or not he bunted at it. Peavy said, hey, he bunted at it. He should be called for a strike, but David Rackley down at third said no attempt, so Gose is aboard. He is hit by a pitch.
And I would agree there was no attempt to bunt this ball. There was also a lost attempt to get out of the way, and I think Anthony Gose, with those great wheels of his, would like to keep those settled in and a little healthy. And he also stepped out of that batter's box a bit.
So Gose is at first base. Rajai Davis fired out on the first pitch he saw back in the 1st inning against Peavy. Peavy knows that Gose is a threat to run. Jake's very good at neutralizing the running game. 7 of 12 base stealers have been caught while Peavy's on the mound.
When you look at pitchers who have limited attempts against them, you can already see guys that are quick to the plate, that find a way to shut it down.
And there's one way to guard against the run. Unload quickly. Boy, he didn't pause very long at all before he unloaded.
Not what you'd call a slide step, but very quick in that delivery to the plate.
Gose has a big lead. Not running. There's a strike. Ball and a strike to Rajai Davis. Brian Butterfield going through a series of signs, and I'm sure with young Gose and Sierra as well, they're going to dictate when he runs. Not going to give him the ability to run on his own just yet. Gose barely knows who he's playing against, let alone the pitchers he's facing.
I've always wondered, does a manager know when it's a good time to run, or does the base runner have that feel and maybe understand pitch sequence? Tough to tell with a youngster like Anthony Gose.
I think that's why you have to keep the reins on him until you see him play a little bit. He was thinking about running right there, and Peavy picked up on it.
How much does a youngster learn in the minor leagues while he's swiping everything inside? And that's what Gose did.
2 seasons of 70+ steals in the minor leagues. Davis hits it in the air to right. Rios over, calling for it, gets there and makes the catch. Gose retreats back to first. 2 down.
Still laugh about the leads we saw from Anthony Gose a couple of springs ago, where and we could see as he took that previous lead, that right foot well onto the carpet, he took leads that I would say were a good 10 feet plus larger than what you see right now.
Kelly Johnson struck out on a breaking ball his first time up. Gose has a foot on that artificial surface, and Peavy unloads in a hurry and throws a strike.
Problem is, when you take the size lead we talk about with Anthony, it's almost that one-way lead back to first base.
Peavy never falls into a pattern of timing. This time he holds the ball. And that's the one thing that's always a challenge for base runners, is the inconsistency that a pitcher will unload. Hold it one time, make you wait another. Quick pitch on the third.
Yeah, I'm like you. I never felt like the great pickoff move was necessarily the end all to the running game. I felt like it was sequential timing and then that ability to unload quickly to the plate, because most base runners will shut it down. Managers get forced into using the hit and run as part of the running game when that guy's very quick to the plate.
Ghost took a step towards second, but didn't like his jump.
And I'm sure you face that many times as a manager, where you get that guy on the hill that has the terrific quick slide step to the plate and there's no chance to run.
And sometimes you just get a point where you're going to go on first move. There he goes inside, and that hit him. Kelly Johnson gets hit by a pitch as Peavy may have been distracted a bit by Anthony Ghost, and he's hit 2 batters in this inning, and that puts runners at first and second and 2 outs. And Edwin Encarnacion had a big day on Sunday as he went 3 for 5.
He just crushed his 30th home run of the year. He's handling everything. He wakes back on the breaking ball so well. And watching him day in, day out, it has been easy to see why he's put up this season. He takes pitches well. Edwin Encarnacion has figured it out this year.
Obviously, I misspoke. He went 3 for 4 and had a walk in his last at bat. So he's got a chance to get the Blue Jays on the board. Goes after that first pitch, and Peavy dropped the breaking ball on him. Career highs for Encarnacion in home runs and RBIs. And he got off to a great start. Had a great month of April and really has never slowed down. Drilled but foul. Peavy trying to come inside, and Encarnacion was all set for it.
Yeah, there hasn't been that lengthy period where Edwin seemed to lose it. Everybody's going to have little spells, but Edwin's kept it together, and I really think the solid approach where the front side's not flying open and he's just landing quietly, I think all of that adds up to seeing the baseball well, and Edwin has certainly done that.
Yes, I think Dwayne Murphy has helped him put together a solid game plan day in and day out, and told Edwin early on, hit what you want to hit, not what the pitchers want you to hit. And you can really do that if you're patient. I think in the past we have seen Edwin chase a lot of pitches out of the zone, chase a lot of bad breaking balls. We've not seen that this year.
I think some hitters want to hit the fastball, and they guess fastball. When they get the breaking ball, they've started things so early, they move and the bat comes along and they just have a tough time. Edwin hasn't done that. And the only tough month he's had this year, he hit 234 in the month of May, but he's hit over 300 in each other month other than what he's done to this point in August, hitting 293.
Now, in August, of course, he hasn't had the presence of Jose Bautista in the lineup, and he's been the one batter that pitchers don't generally give into.
And yet I wouldn't be surprised if he hits over 300 once again here in August.
1-2, Jake Peavy. There's a base hit into right field. Ghost has blazing speed. He comes around third. Here's the throw to the plate, not in time. Encarnacion went around first, and now he's in a rundown, and here comes Kelly Johnson. He's in a rundown at third now, as Euclid gets Peavy involved, the pitcher, and now Kelly Johnson will allow Euclid to tag him out, but the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead. Edwin Encarnacion, an RBI single to right, his 80th ribby of the season. Saturday will take place August 18th when the Blue Jays take on the Texas Rangers. The game begins at 1:07 p.m. There are special kids price tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 under can run the bases just like the pros. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations for the next Junior Jays Saturday. Carlos Villanueva staked to a 1-0 lead. Set to work to Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis walked in the first inning. He was forced at second. Villanueva's done a good job with his fastball early in this game. He's established the fastball knowing full well he can always throw his changeup and breaking balls as he gets deeper and deeper in the count.
I think you can have success when you spot it very well, and he's done that on the corners.
It's a changeup that missed low. Villanueva struck out the side in the third. We got Flowers, Beckham, and Diaza in order. There's a fastball. He tried to get it to the outside. Youkilis got to it and hits it all the way to the scoreboard in center. That ball carried a little better than Rajai Davis anticipated, but it looked like it was toward the end of the bat.
A lot easier than yesterday for Rajai. Let's just go ahead and make a routine type play as he backs into it, but yeah, that was just missed by Kevin Youkilis.
Now Villanueva waits for Anthony Ghost to get back in position in center field. Adam Dunn flied out to right his first time up. Another fastball gets Villanueva ahead.
When you get that fastball in that middle part of the plate, as you see there on the ball hit by Youkilis, that's when balls start getting hit hard, though. Major league hitters tend to like to hit that fastball if it's not on the corners.
That good hard slider in. David Rackley down at third said no swing, so it's a ball and a strike to Adam Dunn. Dunn has just 4 hits in his last 35 at bats, hitting just over 100. Dunn has always had power. He needs 4 home runs to hit 400 for his career. He's just 3 RBIs shy of 1,000. Well, that's a good fastball down and away, and that's about all Dunn could do with that one.
So what if Adam Dunn were to play another 6-7 years and get to 500 home runs? Is he a Hall of Famer?
I don't think so. Not for me.
Yeah, not for me, and yet 500 home runs has for years kind of been like the 300 wins for a starting pitcher.
500 home runs is always a terrific milestone, but I think the one thing where when you put a player to the test, and I know he had 4 straight 40 home run seasons with the Reds, but was he a dominant player during his era? Was he the one guy you thought about as an outfielder or a first baseman in Cincinnati? He hits this ball high and deep to center. Ghost is looking up, and Dunn has hit a homer deep into center field. That's his first home run in 14 games. Now he is just 3 home runs shy of 400.
One way or another, he has tremendous power, always a threat to go long ball, and I sure would not want to leave a fastball through the heart of the plate to Adam Dunn at any given time. And Carlos looked like he was trying to come in and found the plate with it, and you just can't afford to do it. Yeah, you can see easy to get extension there, and Adam Dunn will start that batter early. We saw the check swings on previous pitches.
Boy, that was a long home run and snapped a home run drought for Adam Dunn. Mentioned that's his first home run in 14 games.
You know, I used to hear that argument about Don Sutton, for example, a pitcher who won over 300 games. Was he a Hall of Famer? Was he ever that dominant guy, a guy that you were concerned about over the course of the season? And yet 300 plus wins eventually got him into the Hall of Fame, and I think deservedly so. And you know, I asked the question about Adam Dunn. I don't know that he'll have that opportunity to get to 500, but that would be a bit of a dilemma, I would think.
Well, Dunn is now 32 years of age. He'll turn 33 in November. Well, there's certainly a lot of baseball left in Adam Dunn. Came up with the Reds in 2001. He hit 19 homers in just 66 games his rookie season. He's always had the power. We mentioned the 4 straight 40 home run seasons he put together in Cincinnati. Then he had a couple of 38 home run seasons in Washington with the Nationals. Last year hit just 11. So this is a big bounce back year for him. That a home run number 32 for Dunn.
Aside from the contract already in place, I wouldn't have been surprised after last year's numbers where he hit in the 150s, I believe, if the White Sox had just simply released him. But that contract means an awful lot. Money is due, and they stay with Adam Dunn, and it's paying off this year.
Well, he's signed through 2014.
Yeah, and so a lot of dollars still yet to be paid. But I would say, had he been at the end of a contract, he might have found himself in a tough spot, not only with the White Sox, but with any team.
Now, he had more strikeouts than his batting average. He hit 159 and struck out 177 times.
That's a bit of a rough year.
But he has bounced back and paid off. Rios strikes out. That's the 5th strikeout for Villanueva.
Carlos Villanueva strikes out 9.5 per 9 innings. Surprising with his type of stuff, but changing speeds, moving it around. And Alex Rios down, number 5.
A.J. Pierzynski popped up to the second baseman back in the second inning. This time he goes after the first pitch and singles into right. Looked like a breaking ball that stayed up out over the plate, and Pierzynski was all over it.
First few innings, it looked like Carlos was staying on the corners very well. Here in this 4th inning, starting to find a little more of the white of the plate, and whether change or breaking ball left up on Pierzynski, pretty easy pitch to handle.
Well, 2-out single now. Pierzynski's at first. Alexei Ramirez. Alexei flied out to center field his first time up. 1-1 ball game. Adam Dunn's 1-out home run, his 32nd of the season, has tied it at 1.
Do all those strikeouts bother a manager? When you hit this many home runs, drive in this many runs, do the strikeouts become a negative?
It's funny you asked that. I asked Robin Ventura that exactly this afternoon. This is popped up, foul ground, playable. Mathis over in front of the White Sox dugout makes the catch, and we'll talk about the home runs and the strikeouts. But Adam Dunn connects a 1-out home run deep to center field, his 32nd of the season, ties the score at 1-1. Snyder's Grillums. Friday, August 17th, the Blue Jays and the Rangers meet up. It's a 7:07 start. Come on down early and enjoy the pregame festivities outside of Gate 10. It all starts at 4:30. There's a licensed area live music and fun interactive games. Call the Blue Jays for tickets at 416-341-1234, or you can log on to BlueJays.com to order your Blue Jays tickets. David Cooper singled to right field back in the second, but was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Alex Rios threw a strike to second to nail him. This is popped up. Euclid will chase it down and doesn't get there. A fan reached over, made a nice catch. Euclid wasn't close. Robin Ventura said that Kevin Euclid was probably the biggest addition they have made to this ball club, given the fact they didn't have much production at third. Euclid is playing his 37th game at third base since coming to Chicago from the Red Sox.
At the time of the deal, I thought it was quite an addition for the Red Sox, a chance to get rid of any of the problems around the ball club. And Will Middlebrooks, who was swinging it very well, a chance to play every day at third base. He has since been injured.
Middlebrooks has a broken wrist. He's out for the season. And the Red Sox continue to mix and match on the infield. But you're right, it was probably better at the time. There were so many distractions with Euclid and Valentine. It was something in the newspaper every single day. That hasn't been the case with Robin Ventura. It has been smooth sailing for the White Sox under Ventura, and he is certainly a dramatic change from the personality of their previous manager, Ozzie Guillen.
Those are contrasting personalities, no question about it. And if you're the White Sox and they needed help at third base, it was quite a blessing to be able to get Kevin Euclid.
It's a 1-1 ball game, one out in the bottom of the fourth. Ball on a strike to Yunel Escobar. Jake Peavy has really set the tone for this ball game. He's thrown 12 of 14 first pitch strikes. And there's some paint on the outside corner for a strike.
Little Sherwin-Williams fastball.
2-2. Poked into right. Rios comes in a few steps and makes the catch. Two quick outs here in the fourth. We often talk about a starting pitcher and how he can really capture the momentum of a ball game. After his team tied it up in the top half of the inning, Jake Peavy is an out away from retiring the Blue Jays in order.
I refer to Jake Peavy as a gamer, a guy that I think if you're on that ball club, you are thrilled to have him on the hill.
Well, I mentioned Peavy's name to Robin Ventura, and he said pro. When he pitches, he's into the game every pitch. When he's not pitching, he's helping starters who are working in that game. He said he's really been an asset to the young pitchers on this staff, whether they're starters or relievers, in their game preparation, sitting down and going over a scouting report and helping Quintana and Sale, two young starters, just utilize what they have and implement a good approach.
Had 6 consecutive double-digit win seasons with the Padres, starting in 2003. Won the Cy Young Award, 19-6 back in 2007 with the Pods.
Inside to Moises Sierra. It's 3-1.
Ran into some arm problems, but he's wanted to continue pitching. He's got himself back healthy, and you would figure if the White Sox do get into the postseason, he would be a guy they really count on.
So it's popped up over into the seats, out of play. Well, I think the one thing that Jake Peavy brings you is a swagger on the mound. He made 2 starts for San Diego in the postseason. In 2005, he started a game against St. Louis. Again in 2006 against the Cardinals. He lost both of those starts. He's a 2-time All-Star. But I think if you had a choice to say, okay, who's going to open up a series in the postseason, I'd pick Jake Peavy, just on what he takes to the mound.
I think I'd lean the same direction. You're going to, no doubt, see how they're pitching at the time going into the postseason, but you want to be a catcher? Yeah, that's what you get. And it hurts worse than it looks, I assure you that.
Yeah, I'll vouch for that.
They don't call it hardball for nothing.
Looked like he got hit on the hand and inside the thigh. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. 3-2, 2 outs. Here, hanging tough.
Used to hit him on the fingers, obviously. You could get some areas that you don't want to get hit with, but I used to hate that foul tip on the right shoulder, and you see catchers now wearing that extra pad on the throwing shoulder.
Well, Sierra, he can protect that outside part of the plate. His bat stays in the hitting zone as long as anybody on this team, and he just really does a good job with 2 strikes.
What you're watching with that kind of a swing, fighting it off and taking a shot at getting a base hit the other way, is very much like what Encarnacion did in the 3rd inning with his base hit to right field, just staying on a breaking ball and lining it the other way. Young man taking some extra time, and a lot of times umpires won't be real anxious to play that game.
Peavy misses with the fastball down and in, and Sierra reaches for a second time, a 2-out walk.
So we were talking about Edwin Encarnacion and his base hit the other way, and what an impressive at bat it was. He had a couple of strikes on him. He gets the slider. It doesn't get out to the outside part of the plate, but Edwin stays on it and hits the inside of the baseball as he lines it the other way. And again, part of why I think Edwin has had such a big season, recognizing all pitches.
Omar Vizquel jumps on the first pitch, but he hooks it out of play. Vizquel starting at 3rd in place of Brett Laurie, who's on a disabled list. Laurie is eligible to be activated on Sunday. Laurie is currently in Dunedin, working on rehabbing his ribs. There's a strike with a fastball. A report from Dunedin this afternoon suggests that Laurie took some dry swings, felt very good, and will continue to increase the intensity of swinging a bat and getting back to baseball activities. There goes Sierra. Vizquel pulls it foul.
There's no question this ball club misses Jose Bautista, but I'm not so sure how far behind Jose, if at all, Brett Laurie would come in terms of how much they miss him and what he brings on a daily basis.
Well, when you have 4 of your middle of the lineup bats out, I don't care who they are, it will wear on any manager, and that's the situation with the Blue Jays. Aaron Sebia, Lynn, Bautista, and Laurie. Vizquel putting up a fight against Peavy. You know, those bats hit in the middle of the lineup for John Farrell most of the season. And when you take him out of the lineup, it's difficult, and that's why you have to tip your cap to Edwin Encarnacion doing what he has done without many of those supporting bats around him.
He doesn't seem to mind not having a bit of protection behind him. He still draws his walk, still gets his hits.
Peavy took something off and strikes out Omar Vizquel. Blue Jays leave a base runner. It's a 1-1 game. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. needed some fill-ins in the rotation, and Carlos Villanueva has filled in admirably, going 4-2 for his 7 starts, and now Villanueva really has been a benefit for John Farrell.
Oh, he's been really kind of an ace at times in this rotation. Good ERA. He just stays in there and gives you a good start one after another.
His whip 1.19 during his 7 starts, and walks plus hits per innings pitched. He doesn't pitch himself into tough situations very frequently. This is popped up and playable. Kelly Johnson lost it and then found it. He had his hands up initially, suggesting he didn't see it. With 1 out, let's check in with Hazel May. Brian Dempster, 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs, and that grand slam to Dick Swisher. David Phelps, indeed, is the starter. He's replacing C.C. Sabathia. Nobody's going to get to first to beat Tyler Flowers. Villanueva got off the mound, thought he had a play, and then it bounced past him. Cooper went after the ball, and nobody was there to cover the bag.
Something went wrong for Carlos. A wheel blew out. Something dropped him to the carpet. Let's watch him as he moves after this ball. I think he thought he had a shot at the baseball itself, and at that point, everything went wrong. And when he went down, there was no chance for the out.
Teams practice that play for hours in spring training. Pitchers will get off the mound, and they'll make a quick decision as to whether or not they can get to it. I don't think Villanueva had a real good shot at making that play no matter what happened.
I felt like his best option was just sprint to the bag and take that toss from David Cooper.
So Flowers has an infield single. Number 9 hitter is Gordon Beckham. He goes after the first pitch. Kelly Johnson looking up and signaling that he sees it. It's still twilight. The lights haven't taken full effect, and there's a gray sky above Rogers Center, so he looked up and had trouble with both of those pop-ups, but he caught them both.
Kelly's not a guy that generally has any problem with pop flies, so I'm guessing this sky is on the very tough side for the moment.
Back to the top of the order. Alejandro Diaz has struck out twice against Villanueva. 2 of the 5 strikeouts. Down and in. The changeup and evens the count, of ball on the strike. We're in the 5th inning. Blue Jays scored a single run in their half of the 3rd. Edwin Encarnacion driving in his 80th run of the season, and then top of the 4th, Adam Dunn, his 32nd home run, a solo shot to center. This is popped up. Left fielder Rajay Davis is over, makes the grab. The inning is over. Carlos Villanueva needs just 7 pitches to get through the White Sox lineup in the top of the 5th. Dirk Hayhurst on Baseball Central at noon. Weekdays on Rogers Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Right here on Rogers Sportsnet as well. And Dirk Hayhurst is filling in on radio with Jerry Howitt for Alan Ashby, who's joined us in the TV booth. So Dirk Hayhurst and Sam Cosentino, weekdays at noon on the Fan 590. Jose Bautista took some swings after BP. It was a scheduled workout day for him to swing off the tee. He's been optimistic all day long. He was out in the outfield shagging during BP, bouncing around with an awful lot of energy, so it looks like he had a pretty good session swinging that bat.
Watched him a few days ago taking ground balls at shortstop, had nothing on that left hand wrist area, and so I took it as a very positive step forward.
It's still going to take him a while. I mean, we haven't even talked about batting practice yet. He's just literally swinging the bat. He may have taken some balls off the tee. It all took place after the Blue Jays finished their regular session of batting practice on the field.
Wonder if Jose might have that day where he just says, you know what, it all of a sudden feels a lot better. I think I'm ready to try to take a huge step forward.
Yeah, I think that's a possibility, and I've watched his body language all afternoon. He looks upbeat. He has really been down in the dumps, and rightly so, after suffering that injury in New York. The Jays obviously would love to have him back. That was the 16th of July. It's almost been a month now. 3-1 to Jeff Mathis. He comes back and finds that outside corner.
It's been that month you're talking about, and even the past 2-3 weeks with the injuries that have really taken the toll on this team. A team that 2 weeks ago was best in the major leagues in runs scored.
Leadoff walk for Mathis. He'll take first base. That starts the 5th inning. Fans enter the Hit a Home Run with Sharp contest on Facebook today. There are 5 ways to win this season, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Aquos. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. Leadoff man's aboard. The number 9 hitter, Anthony Gose, has scored the Blue Jays run. He got hit by a pitch and came around to score on the single by Encarnacion. He shows bunt and takes a strike. This is one area where the Blue Jays, especially the minor leaguers, have really shown a weakness. They haven't been able to get the bunts down when asked to drop the sacrifice bunt. Been a challenge.
Surprising, because on the minor league level you expect that they get a lot of that work.
Chop back to Peavy. He looks at second, goes there just in time to get Mathis. Oh, you talk about a veteran play. Peavy never panicked, remembering he had the catcher running from first and threw to the shortstop covering second for the force out.
You don't have to think very hard to the number of times you holler second as a catcher, and the pitcher takes a peek, already has his mind made up. It's too late. He's going to get the out at first base. Jake Peavy sees a window and he takes advantage.
It's a tie game. As you mentioned, you called Peavy a 5th infielder, and right there he played like one. Teaming up with Ramirez for the force out. Come back to the top of the order. Anthony goes at first. Rajay Davis, the batter. Rajay fouls it straight back. Rajay Davis tied his career high yesterday when he drove in 5. He had a 2-run double in the 4th and then a 3-run double in the 5th. That capped off a 10-run day for the Blue Jays. Pitch out, nothing doing. White Sox guest with Anthony Gose.
See these two guys, Rajay Davis and Anthony Gose, back to back, and I wait for that starter's gun.
Throw is not in time. Second base umpire Mark Wegner looked like he was ready to start that right hand up in the air. And now he's going to call the batter for interference and call Rajai out and send Ghost back to first base. Rajai Davis, according to the umpire, Brian Knight, interfered with Flowers' ability to make a throw to second. And John Farrell now coming out to hear Knight's side of the story.
I was always told as a catcher, and I would assume you were as well, as a catcher, make contact with that hitter. Was there any contact that created problems? The bat could be construed as that contact.
Yeah, Davis leaves that bat out over home plate, and you see Flowers indeed made contact, and Knight, to his credit, called it immediately. And obviously the bat is part of the batter.
Yeah.
And he leaned out over the plate and kept the pose there.
If you're a one-arm swinger, and Rajai can be on certain swings, it's awfully hard not to have the bat get in that position. Rajai didn't cross over the plate with his body, his feet, anything like that, and I think that's what John Farrell is arguing about. But that bat on the swing goes back there. Is there some way as a hitter that you can allow that to drop out of the zone? The bottom line is, I would say that Flowers did the perfect thing to move right into the bat, make the throw, and then get that chance for the interference call.
Is it your interpretation that Davis has the right to stay in the batter's box no matter where he is?
It is my interpretation. He can't cross out with that back foot like you see from so many hitters and cross out outside of the batter's box. But it is my understanding that you can stay right in your place as a hitter, even with the throw to third base, if you want to risk the chance of getting drilled in the head. And I would assume that you've had the same understanding.
Yeah, I don't think the batter has to get out of the way as long as he stays in the batter's box. But John Farrell has given up the argument, and Rajai Davis will be called out. Ghost, who was safe at second on the steal attempt. And let's take another look at the play at home.
Rajai simply takes the swing. He stays in the box, but that bat gets run into by the catcher. I think maybe for an umpire that might be looking for the interference rather than seeing some interference actually take place. I don't know that that had any impact on the throw whatsoever, and it wasn't a bad throw.
So Kelly Johnson steps in the box there, and now 2 outs. There goes Ghost. Pitches down and in, and Ghost steals it this time, and he'll stay at second. Well, he got a good jump. Anthony with his 5th steal of the season.
Anthony has a good lead. Pretty good jump considering that Peavy's quick to the plate, and he simply beats this one. He always goes in with that dive, other than the other day we saw him slide and went in hard at third base, and I kind of like that slide effort.
But Kelly Johnson takes one inside.
As an umpire, I'm asking myself, would I need to see some impact on the throw, something negatively imparted on the catcher's throw, in order to call interference? And I don't know that I could say that took place on that previous throw.
I think the one thing that was unusual about it is the way Davis posed with that bat extended out over the home plate. I think that's probably what led Brian Knight to make that call. I mean, he kind of stood there like a statue, and that bat was right out over home plate.
I think you're right. The question I would ask is, did it impact the throw at all? And I guess Brian Knight is left with that instantaneous decision. Was there some impact? Was there interference? And he chooses, yes, there was interference.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Johnson stays alive. Heck of a ball game. 1 run, 3 hits for both clubs. And the 2 big boppers have provided the RBIs. Edwin Encarnacion drove in the first run of the ball game in the 3rd, and Adam Dunn tied it up with a solo home run. Kelly Johnson skies it down the right side. Alex Rios over near the foul line in fair territory makes the grab, and the Blue Jays are done in their half of the 5th. Some controversy here in the 5th inning. Brian Mack, the home plate umpire, ruled that Rajai Davis interfered with the catcher, Tyler Flowers. Hook up. Something happens late in the ball game. You look at the Blue Jays pulling out games late. They have won 25 of the 36 ball games against the White Sox, scoring almost 5 runs a game. And the runs after the 6th, Blue Jays have had a distinct advantage. They've scored 52 runs after the 6th inning to the White Sox 36 runs. And the Blue Jays bullpen has outpitched Chicago dramatically. Kevin Youkilis takes a pitch down and in. Ball on a strike. Youkilis has walked and flied out. This is one thing Carlos Villanueva does on a regular basis. Pitches into the 6th. You can book it. He's done a good job with his pitch count tonight. Thrown just 65 pitches as he's working into the 6th.
To that point, Buck, 5 of the last 6 starts for Carlos, at least 6 innings, and he's trying to make it 6 out of 7 with tonight's outing.
Youkilis out in front of that off-speed pitch.
In fact, the only time he didn't go into the 6th inning, working just 5 innings against the Tigers on July 27th, but that was a win. 8-3 win over the Tigers. Just a couple of runs in 5 innings. He has been awfully good for this club.
2-2 to Youkilis. Hanging breaking ball, and he fights it up. Yeah, that's the one thing managers want, is just consistency. Just no surprises. Don't come out and give it up in the 2nd, then I got to go to my bullpen. But Villanueva has been very consistent in his ability to pitch into the 6th. There's that hard slider, 82 miles an hour, and it gets Youkilis.
He gets right on the top of that as it breaks downward and does look like the curveball. He just throws it so hard. Right on top, and when you hear pitching coaches talk about get on top of that slider, that's what it looks like when you do. When you get around the side of it, it tends to look like that flying saucer coming up there and just flattens out.
Adam Dunn hit his home run last time up on a fastball. This time he's late on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got so much power. He's a big guy, 6'6". Goes after that blooping curveball and pops it into the seats. Go back to the 4th inning.
This was not that slow curveball. This was the fastball, found the plate, and Adam Dunn let the baseball find the barrel of the bat, and that is way up there. That's the kind of power this guy possesses, and that's why when you look over his career, he's hit so many home runs. You can see the spot right there.
Right up on top of that Blackberry sign, and he gets a fastball and hits it into center field. Got him done with his second hit of the night. He's 2 for 3. It's only the 4th hit for the White Sox. Dunn has 2 of them.
Like Carlos Villanueva was trying to come right back to the same spot where the fastball was for the home run. See if he's really that good on that pitch.
Might not want to do that again.
Might be done with that one for the night.
Alex Rios. This has gone 0 for 2 so far with a strikeout. Hits this ball. Vizquel dives and throws to second for the force. Twice tonight we've seen Vizquel leave his feet. Takes a hit away from Rios as they get the lead runner at second.
Second time doing so on Alex Rios. And because of that, Rios with an 0 for 3 night. He's done that for a while. Watch the reactions. And he makes it look so casual. He knows he's not going to get the double play. So make sure you get that lead out.
Making his 4th start at third base. A.J. Pierzynski singled on the first pitch his last at bat. There goes Rios. He got a great jump. Throw is nowhere nearly in time. Rios stole that one off of Villanueva. Rios' 17th steal of the season. He's now in scoring position for Pierzynski.
Carlos generally shuts down the running game fairly effectively, but his timing was read beautifully here by Rios, who's still a good base stealer.
A.J. Pierzynski. Now they're going to talk things over. Villanueva shook off several signs from Mathis. And now they talk it over with A.J. Pierzynski at the plate. He's been a real steady clutch hitter for the White Sox since he joined Chicago. And you look at the White Sox runners in scoring position this season. This is the AL rank. Rios is 4th. Pierzynski is 6th. Then you have Ramirez, Konerko, and Diaza all hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position.
And these White Sox minus Konerko right now. Concussion going on.
But that's pretty impressive. You can have that many clutch hitters in your lineup. And Pierzynski is right there at the top.
Asking myself who the MVP for the White Sox would be this season. Whether they get into the postseason or not. Is it Alex Rios? Is it Paul Konerko, who about a month ago or so ago was among the leaders in batting average? Or is it A.J. Pierzynski?
Changeup, and Pierzynski hits it off the end of the bat. That's a good question. There is a few candidates. There are a few candidates on this team for the MVP. Look at Rios now. He started out this ball game tied for 3rd in batting average at 318. Tied with Derek Jeter.
Of course, I didn't even mention Adam Dunn, who leads the White Sox in runs driven in.
Off-speed pitch, and Pierzynski will pack the wood back to the dugout. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. Villanueva now has 7 strikeouts at getting the breaking ball. Blue Jays. He's driven in the only Jays run of the night. And Encarnacion has had some season. This year he's hit 30 home runs. His previous high was 26 with the Reds. They have a new high in RBIs as well, but he has been their most consistent run producer all year long.
There's no question about it. Even when Jose Bautista was driving in a ton of runs and hitting the long ball, the consistency fell on the side of Edwin Encarnacion.
First pitch breaking ball from Peavy. Encarnacion, his previous RBI high was in 2007 when he had 76 with the Reds. His home run high, 26, came in 2008, also with Cincinnati. Ball on the strike. Interesting how Encarnacion really came to where he is today. It was a combination of things. At the end of the season, he talked to Robinson Cano and said, you know, I want to work out with you guys. They worked out together in the Dominican Republic. And Cano suggested a couple of things. That's back to Peavy. And Robinson Cano has had a lot to do with Encarnacion's fine season. So Encarnacion is retired here in the 6th. That leads things off. David Cooper, the cleanup hitter, will bat with one out.
Wonder how much psychologically was talked about between Cano and Edwin Encarnacion. Cano is one of those guys that seems to be so loaded with tools that he plays the game almost effortlessly. It looks like he's got a smile on his face, has that little submarine toss of his, swings the bat like he owns it.
Kevin Youkilis wide of third. Easy play. 2 down quickly. Yeah, I think like Cano has learned over the years, he's got natural talent. There's no question about it. His father was a player, and he was always around baseball, but their hitting coach, and I say there, and now Encarnacion's working with Luis Mercedes as well. And Cano has worked with Mercedes since 2002 in the offseason. And in fact, Kevin Long, the Yankees hitting coach, has gone down to Dominican to watch what Mercedes does. So they both kind of work as hitting instructors for Robinson Cano.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is very natural for Cano as well, but I'm sure what they go through is quite helpful. I reflect back 3-4 years ago in spring training, and Yogi Berra was there, and I was talking to Yogi, former coach of mine for years in Houston, and he said, you know, that Cano kid, he can really swing the bat. And was he ever right?
Yes, he was. Yogi always thought that Cano would win a batting title.
Yeah.
Peavy, oh, excuse me.
I was just going to say, Yogi's not wrong about much in this game.
No, he's sure not. Popped up over near the seats. Dunn will give it a look, but it's out of play. You know, speaking of Yogi Berra, one of the real treasures of baseball, we lost one of the treasures of baseball today when Johnny Pesky died. Great ball player for the Red Sox, and Kevin Youkilis was talking about him because Pesky was always around the Red Sox. He said, you know, Johnny passed away today. And I said, yeah, it's a big loss for baseball. And he had the same kind of impact that you're talking about with Yogi Berra, one of those links to the past that had so many stories and such a treasure.
And you see the foul pole there in Boston. That right field foul pole is known as the Pesky pole, and that may be the only tie that a lot of fans have to that name.
Jake Peavy has a great inning. He strikes out Junel Escobar. He retires the Blue Jays in order in the 6th. Peavy's on his game. He's held the Blue Jays to just 3 hits. Travel World MasterCard from Capital One. And tonight we're taking a look inside the numbers at Omar Vizquel's great career. The all-time hits leaderboard. Pete Rose, of course, top of the list, the king of hits. 42-56. Babe Ruth is 40th. Alex Rodriguez, Harold Baines, who's in the ballpark tonight with the White Sox, and Omar Vizquel just 3 hits behind Harold Baines for 42nd spot on the all-time hits leaderboard.
How much does Omar Vizquel want to get to 3,000 hits? I don't think he needs 3,000 to get to the Hall of Fame. I think he's earned it defensively and with everything else he's done.
And there's Harold Baines, who is currently 42nd on the all-time hits leaderboard. Ramirez goes after the first pitch, and the aforementioned Omar Vizquel in foul territory. 1 down.
Want to help out a great cause while enjoying some great food? Stop by A&W on August 23rd, when $1 from every teen burger sold goes to help end MS.
One down. Nayan Vizquel 0 for 2 so far. Villanueva has done a great job using that breaking ball to get ahead. Quite a pitcher's duel here. They're in the top of the 7th inning in a 1-1 game. Only 7 hits in the ball game. It's a little flare that's going to drop in front of Sierra. Vizquel is aboard with a 1-out single. Looked like the curveball hit right off the end of the bat.
Villanueva gets hitters so off balance with that curveball and changeup, and then the harder slider. Spots his fastball. See a lot of balls hit off the end of the bat like this, and they'll drop for hits.
Villanueva has done a good job once he gets into the stretch with runners on. For the season coming into this game, holding hitters to a 190 average. His opponent's batting average with nobody on is 254, but it drops dramatically once he gets runners on. He really focuses and makes quality pitches when he's dealing with base runners.
Always wondered if some of that had to do with certain pitchers about becoming a little funkier in the delivery. Is there something about that delivery that creates a different look for the hitters? Don't see anything special that stands out with Carlos in that regard.
I think it just gives him that keen focus where he can use all of his pitches. I think, too, you mentioned it earlier, how he can't just rear back and fire that fastball. He's got to make quality pitches. And he gets a little more focused when he's got runners on.
I think some fans might ask, well, if he's putting up better numbers from the stretch, why not stay there all the time? I don't know that the comfort level would be the same.
There's a strike. It's 2-2. You can't really argue with his success as a starter. Excuse me, it's 2-1. That was the first strike. When you look at what he has done as a starter, he's done a great job. You just wonder, could he maintain that over the course of 32 starts?
And he had some arm problems a year ago, and I think that's why he initially was not considered as a starter earlier this year. When the injury started for the ball club, Carlos was not the first guy turned to. And I really think it came down to the arm problems from a year ago. But he's shown no signs of any injuries this year.
It's a full count. Vizquel at first base. There's 1 out. There goes the runner. Strikeout. Throw to second. Good grab by Kelly Johnson. He took the low throw and tagged out Vizquel. He got himself in a great position in front of the bag at second base. So when that ball skipped off the turf, he could make a grab with a short throw. Flowers strikes out. Mathis throws a one-hopper. Kelly Johnson with the tag. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Skies were threatening early on this evening, but it seems to have blown out of town. The roof is still open, and the fans are being entertained by a very good pitcher's duel. Jake Peavy and Carlos Villanueva hooked up in a 1-1 game. Moises Sierra has been on base twice. He singled and walked. He singled up the middle, and the shortstop Alexei Ramirez made a nice play, but Sierra outran his throw. Off the plate.
When you miss as a pitcher, that's the way you want to miss, where it is tantalizing for the hitter, even for the umpire for that matter.
Ball is hit high and deep to left. Viciedo looking up. This ball is gone. Moises Sierra, his first big league home run, comes off Jake Peavy, and the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
There's some of that home run potential that you might see in this big body, a guy that has already refined the hitting stroke quite well. First major league home run, and that's one to remember. Sinking, I don't know if that was the change or the fastball, but hammered beautifully, and just a nice stroke, as you could see Sierra swing right through that zone.
Well, he just missed hitting a home run, an off-speed pitch in Oakland, and he didn't miss that one. Big smile for Sierra. He has Jake Peavy in his book.
Now the big question is, can he get that baseball?
Well, they'll do all they can on that bullpen to retrieve that baseball. First big league home run. Omar Vizquel, 2 balls and a strike.
Have you ever been the recipient of a really great gift? Whatever time of year it was, none better than that first major league home run.
Yeah, that'd be a real benefit. And I'm sure they'll make every effort they can to retrieve that baseball. It's out there in the seats in left center. Vizquel pokes it up the middle. He gets his first hit of the night. Well, he stayed on that ball very well and just slapped it past Peavy into center.
Perfect description, saying pokes it, as just watch him reach out a tough pitch and find that hole up the middle, and he draws one closer to 3,000.
Closing in on Harold Baines, who is the first base coach for the White Sox here tonight, just 2 hits shy. Jeff Mathis walked his last time up. There goes Vizquel. The hit and run is on, and Beckham tags Vizquel and goes to first for the out. The one place you don't want to hit it on a hit and run is right back up the middle, because someone is covering second. You can see the ushers have made contact with the fan who caught that baseball, and they're trying to negotiate a deal right now. Blue Jays relief pitchers will be involved in that, you can bet. Anthony Ghost takes a strike.
Moises Sierra would probably give just about anything right now to get that baseball.
No, I'm sure they'll get it back. They understand the significance of your first big league home run. Looks like the guy in the Blue Jays dark t-shirt has the ball in his glove.
Fans around so many of the ballparks. I think of Chicago's Wrigley Field and the way they'd come out for batting practice and get all the home run balls. And then when somebody would hit a home run during the game, they'd keep that ball and throw the old BP balls out.
Anthony Ghost grounds out to second. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays have taken the lead here in the 7th. Moises Sierra, his first big league home run comes off a former Cy Young Award winner, Jake Peavy. 2-1 Blue Jays.
Fifth inning, runner aboard. That's Jeff Mathis as Anthony Ghost is at the plate. He turns to bunt and then slaps at it and leaves a rather tough play. Does Jake Peavy go to second or to first for the sure out? He chooses second base at a small window, but no hesitation. And that is quality work. A lot of pitchers will opt to go to first base, get that sure out. Not Jake Peavy in this instance.
Well, you got to tip the cap to Peavy because it was a 1-1 game at the time, and he didn't hesitate. He knew he wanted to get that lead runner. But right now, he can't get Moises Sierra. Sierra's had a perfect night. Single, walked in, hit his first big league home run. And the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. And Carlos Villanueva goes 7 strong innings. And you can see there's a bat out in the outfield now. And looks like they got a couple of baseballs, a bat. But looks like that fan made a nice trade for himself. And they will indeed get back the Moises Sierra home run baseball. Brandon Lyon into the ball game. Throws a first pitch strike to Gordon Beckham. 9-1-2 for the White Sox here. 46th appearance on the season for Brandon Lyon.
Not a bad deal for that fan. You catch a baseball and you go back home with everything they had in the clubhouse.
Looks like a happy fan, and there's going to be a happy ball player when he gets to the clubhouse and finds that baseball in his locker. Beckham behind 0-2. Slider bounced in the dirt. Blue Jays bullpen is taking on a totally different complexion. It started with the addition of Brandon Lyon and Jay Happ in that trade with the Astros, and then on the West Coast trip they had Brad Lincoln and Steve Dellamar. But now there's a little more certainty about the back end of the ball games for the Blue Jays.
I think when you talk about a healthy Blue Jays ball club, the bullpen was the weakest link. And what they've done now is turn that bullpen, at least seemingly with the arms they have, into potentially certainly a strong link for the ball club. You want to get Sergio Santos back next year. That would be a big key. Casey Jansen may not be ready to cough up that closer's role.
Lyon starts out the inning with a strikeout. 1 out. Let's check in with Hazel May. Dodgers really doing a great job. Hanley Ramirez, what a spark he has been for the Dodgers. As Beaza goes after that first pitch. Hanley Ramirez was picked up by the Dodgers to add some pop to their lineup, and he has done a great job. He's had 3 RBIs in the game last night. They beat Miami 5-0. Beaza bunts it up the third baseline, and the only hope is that it goes foul. And it does trickle into foul ground. Vizquel was savvy enough to know he wasn't going to have a play on it, so he just let it roll, and it trickled into foul ground.
See a lot of guys just swipe at the baseball once it rolls foul. Not Vizquel, very casually, just kind of sweeping it aside. He's got a different approach to this game, and it always seems to work out. By the way, the strikeout here in the inning for Brandon Lyon is 19th now with the Blue Jays in 9 1/3 innings. Pretty impressive stuff.
He started out his career as a starter with the Blue Jays, came to the big leagues in 2001. But he's certainly thrown the ball very well out of the bullpen. Here's the 0-2. Piazza stays alive. He struck out twice and flied out. Bruce Walton gave Brandon Lyon a little bit different grip on his two-seam fastball, and that sinker has really allowed him to pitch ahead and then get him in a position where he can use those breaking balls. He throws a good slider and a very good curveball.
The Blue Jays find themselves now not needing to bring up a bunch of guys from the minor leagues who are inexperienced, maybe have never even pitched in the big leagues, but instead have some arms that have had fine success as relievers.
Well, the Blue Jays have used more pitchers than anybody. They've used 32 pitchers this year. But the addition of Delabar, Lincoln, and Lyon have kind of slowed down the revolving door.
What is it, 51 players the Blue Jays have used this year, most in the major leagues?
51. 2 off their all-time high. They've used 53 in the past couple of different seasons. But the injuries and inconsistent performance has led to dramatic turnover, both in the pitching staff and the position players. 2-2. Diaz has had trouble with that breaking ball all night long. He argues that he foul tipped it. But Brandon Lyon, 2 strikeouts. That gives him 20 since joining the Blue Jays.
It's become kind of the standard argument among major league hitters. It was caught cleanly anyway, but hitters tend to want to say, well, I foul tipped it and it was in the dirt.
There's a good fastball, and Lyon jumps ahead of Euclid. That's the slider, a little bit flat, just a late breaking pitch down and away. Very good to right-handers. And then you get that curveball that's got a lot more downward break to it.
Little tight slider and can be so tough on hitters. You think you're absolutely certain it's a fastball until that last moment.
Pull that fastball out of the strike zone. 2-1. Lucas hits it to right. Sierra backs up right on the edge of the warning track, hauls it in, and Brandon Lyon has a clean inning in the 8th. Couple of strikeouts. White Sox down in order, 1-2-3. They'll go to the middle of the 8th. The Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. customers have more ways to get Sportsnet's live coverage of the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. 16,828 on hand. This is the first of 4 games against the Chicago White Sox. Moises Sierra has had a perfect night, including his first big league home run. Sierra's home run came leading off the bottom of the 7th to give the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead. Ball on a strike to Rajay Davis. Jake Peavy has thrown 108 pitches in this game, but he is nowhere close to coming out of this ballgame. As you mentioned earlier, Alan, you called him a grinder, a real pro that battles you every time out.
And though statistically he may not be the leader on this starting staff for the White Sox, you mentioned, and I think it's right, you get into the postseason if you're Chicago, and I think Jake Peavy becomes number 1.
He's given up 3 runs or less in 8 of his last 11 starts, and he is on that pace tonight as well.
Chris Sale, by the way, is the guy that's kind of leading the staff statistically, drafted just a couple of years ago, and boy, has he put up a season.
Chris Sale has 14 wins. He's done a great job. He is one of the few Major League starters that has 14 wins in his first 20 big league starts. Top that list, Cal Eldred, who came up with Milwaukee in the early 90s, had 15 wins in his first 20 starts. Chris Sale has 14 this year. Also Mark Fidrich in 76 with the Tigers, and Roger Moret with the Red Sox, 14 wins in their first 20 starts. One down. Davis pops up. We talk about Jake Peavy, and he comes to this game with a 9-8 record. But you see the lowest whip this season, Jared Weaver, the Angels. He had his win streak snapped last night. Justin Verlander with the Tigers, under 1. And then you have Sale and Peavy. And I can bet you can talk to Chris Sale. He'll say that Jake Peavy's had an awful lot of positive impact on his season this year.
And I bet you can talk to the skip, Robin Ventura, and he'll tell you that he loves having 40% of his starting rotation be guys that just don't put men on base.
Kelly Johnson is 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. That's when the Blue Jays scored their first run of the game. Edwin Encarnacion with the RBI single. 2-1. Well, Peavy can really back off that fastball. It's almost like a dead fish. It just sinks down and away from Johnson.
A version of a changeup, and Kelly Johnson's had a tough time with that change all season long.
Peavy comes right inside with that hard slider and strikes out Kelly Johnson. Carlos Villanueva in line for the win, and he has been a very consistent starter. Tonight he goes 7 innings for the first time this season on just 85 pitches. 5 hits, 1 run. That was a solo home run to Adam Dunn, and he had 8 strikeouts. He was terrific tonight and set the tone for the Blue Jays. John Farrell will tell you 85 pitches in 7 innings is a dream at this point. Keeps your bullpen fresh, keeps everybody in order down in that bullpen, and Villanueva has done his job once again.
Casey Jansen hasn't had a whole lot of save opportunities to close out of late, but when he does get them, he tends to just go right after it. This guy has been immaculate.
Encarnacion pops it back out of play. Casey Jansen, 15 straight saves. He's converted 15 in a row. Picked up number 15 yesterday afternoon.
Quick 1-2-3 ninth inning against the Yankees. He makes it look easy at times.
The 8th time he's had a 1-2-3 save this season. Encarnacion stays alive. Edwin's gone 1 for 3. His one hit was a big one. Gave the Blue Jays the lead in the third. He drove in his 80th run of the season. Peavy on the road has gone 4-5, but his ERA is a sparkling 2.96.
I think some of the White Sox pitchers might tell you they're glad to get on the road, even if it is coming to the Rogers Center. That ballpark in Chicago has become in recent years a pretty favorable offensive yard to hit in.
2-2. Changeup, and Peavy strikes out Encarnacion. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. The Blue Jays go down in order in the 8th. We will go to the 9th. It's a 2-1 Blue Jays lead, and here comes the closer. Casey Janssen looking for number 16. Back on June 5th in Chicago, Rasmus was inserted into the 2 spot in the Blue Jays batting order, and he responded with a 5-for-5 night. He homered, he drove in 3 runs, he scored 4 runs, and he'll hopefully be in the lineup in support of Henderson Alvarez, who goes up against Jose Quintana for Chicago. Casey Janssen into the ball game, and Adam Dunn, first pitch high and deep to left field, and just like that, we are tied up. Second home run of the night for Adam Dunn. He goes opposite field on the first pitch. His 33rd home run. And we'll start all over again.
Won't see Adam Dunn going the other way very often, but he has the kind of pop that he could put it out of any ballpark, anywhere, and he gets that first pitch fastball up out over the plate, and you can bet your bottom dollar he was looking for that first pitch fastball.
Only the 5th home run surrendered by Casey Janssen, but it's tied the game at 2-2. Jake Peavy still sitting on the bench. Rios hits it hard, a one-hopper right to the shortstop, Escobar. That's the first out of the top of the ninth. Jake Peavy has been taken off the hook by Adam Dunn. Dunn's driven in both runs here tonight. For Peavy, he has thrown over 120 pitches, and he's done that a few times this year. In 3 of his last 5 starts coming into this game, he's thrown 120 or more. A.J. Pierzynski 1 for 3 as the DH tonight. Brett Myers is on the right. He's loosening up. Addison Reed is the closer. Myers, a late season addition to this bullpen. Pierzynski gets a piece of the off-speed pitch. One and two. Foul at home. Pierzynski out in front. That ball came up and hit him, so it was a foul ball. AJ Pierzynski 2 for 5 against Casey Janssen in limited at-bats. Another 1-2. Pierzynski golfs it to right. Sierra in front of the trap makes the catch. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Jamie Thomas and Ivanka Osmak. It'd be great to see the Canadian athletes return home after a very successful 2012 London Olympics. Alexei Ramirez goes after the first pitch of breaking ball. Adam Dunn is 2-homer night, his 32nd multi-home run game. Second time he's gone deep twice in a game this season. Well, the breaking ball went right back to the same pitch, and this time Ramirez rips it into center. Second hit of the inning for Chicago.
And now Adam Dunn, your major league leader in home runs. Is it about location here? Really not all that bad. Maybe above the knees with that slider. There's two new best friends. Jake Peavy pleased to be taken off the hook here.
Diane Viciedo with Ramirez at first. First pitch strike.
That's what Casey has done so well through the course of this season and his seasons in the big leagues. He pumps that low riding fastball about as well as anybody.
Now the home run to Dunn snaps that 15 straight save streak that Jansen had. It's the 12th blown save for the Blue Jays this season, but the first since June 29th. It's been very effective, and they have revamped the bullpen, and Jansen has been nearly perfect as the closer. Ball on the strike, 2 outs. I'd keep my eye on Ramirez if I were Casey Janssen. He has 14 steals this season. Top of the 9th inning. 1 run in already for Chicago. Siena with a big wild swing on an off-speed pitch. The outfield for the Blue Jays is deep. They got to play no doubles here with a runner at first base. You can see all 3 outfielders a couple of steps deeper than normal. One and 2. In the dirt and blocked by Mathis.
Do you feel it as that closer when you finally cough one up after an extended, very solid streak? That's what's happened with Casey. Can't tell by looking in his face.
2-2. More check in on Ramirez. So I can tell you it's burning inside his gut right now.
Has to be, and he's a guy that doesn't want to talk about such things, but he would love to prove that he's the closer on this Blue Jays club.
Two and two, 2 outs. Viciado at the plate. Ramirez not running. Foul back. Casey Jansen is the consummate team player. He can do whatever you want him to do, but takes a lot of pride every time he goes to the mound. He talks about taking each appearance as if he were auditioning for his next opportunity. There goes Ramirez. Hop down the right side, and it'll fall into foul ground.
Both Rajai Davis in left and Moises Sierra in right field, pinching a bit toward center field, trying to cut down that gap just a bit. One of those scenarios where you can't give up the double.
Ramirez back over to first base and catch his breath and get his lead. Jansen is set. There goes Ramirez. Pitches down and away. Throw to second, right on the money. Jeff Mathis throws out his second base runner tonight through a strike to second base to Kelly Johnson. That ends the inning, but Chicago ties it up. Second home run of the night for Adam Dunn. It's a 2-2 game. Cleanup hitter David Cooper will start things off. Yunel Escobar and Moises Sierra, his first big league home run in his last at bat. He has been called up from AAA Las Vegas. Mike McDade was called up from AA to AAA. He's played in a total of 12 games. He's hit .333 and driven in 11 runs. He was promoted to AAA August 2nd, and the 23-year-old is in his 6th season in the Blue Jays system. He's a switch hitter that can swing the bat and play very well around the bag at first.
Swing that bat with power from both sides of the plate, and he's had some work with the club the last couple of years in spring training. Not quite the same as the season, but he's done very well.
Brett Myers, who was picked up on July 21st from the Houston Astros to fortify the bullpen, jumps ahead of David Cooper. Ball on the strike. Myers in relief of Jake Peavy, who was terrific. Peavy, 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. More impressive than anything, Peavy threw 25 of 30 first pitch strikes. 83 1/3% first pitch strikes. That's a fair ball, bounced off the plate. Tricky hop for Beckham, but he's got time and throws Cooper out. Peavy continues to pitch very well on the road, although his record might not indicate that. He's 4-5 on the season with a 2.96 ERA. That'll drop tonight. 8 innings of 5 hit ball. Edwin Encarnacion drove in 1 run. The other was a solo home run to Moises Sierra. He walked 2, struck out 6, and threw 124 pitches. But he will take a no decision tonight, as it's now a battle of the bullpens.
Peavy obviously very good. Carlos Villanueva very good as well. Had a chance to win this one. And 2 guys that did throw strikes, first pitch strikes and otherwise, and getting a lot of balls put in play for outs.
Good sinking fastball. Overall, Peavy threw nearly 70% strikes tonight, 69.4. He was in the zone all night long. Brett Myers, a former #1 pick of the Philadelphia Phillies. He was drafted #1 in the '99 draft by Philadelphia. 12th overall. Came out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's been a starter. Came to the big leagues in 2002 as a 21-year-old starter. Good breaking ball, and that's always been his calling card. He's had that good, hard breaking ball. He strikes out Escobar.
Wonder if Unell had on his mind trying to get that big swing to drive one out, and Myers just made it almost impossible keeping pitches under the knees.
So Escobar's down. That's 2 outs now. Moises Sierra has been on base all 3 times. He singled, walked, and homered. Average up to 387, and now he has a home run to his credit. His first big league home run came leading off the 7th off Jake Peavy. It was after that sinking fastball. 0-2.
Watching that sinker, you wonder how anybody ever leaves the yard here on Myers.
Myers and Flowers having a tough time getting their heads together. It's the 12th appearance for Myers since joining the White Sox. He's allowed just 1 earned run. Breaking ball in there. You saw those 2 fans out in the outfield. The young fan caught the home run. Young man in the dark shirt caught the home run ball that Sierra hit. Looked like they negotiated a deal, and Sierra gets his home run ball back. Well, there's that comeback fastball, catches the outside corner, and Myers makes quick work for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the ninth. A couple of strikeouts for Brett Myers. He has really been a pleasant addition to this bullpen. He strikes out Sierra. We'll go to the 10th. It's a 2-2 game. tuned in tomorrow following the Jays as we continue our MLB coverage with the Cleveland Indians visiting the LA Angels of Anaheim. West Coast Baseball on Sportsnet Pacific and Sportsnet West. That's Tuesday following the Blue Jays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Good pitching matchup. Ubaldo Jimenez goes to the mound for Cleveland. He'll be opposed by Zach Greinke for the Angels. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is Steve Delabar. First pitch to Vicieda was fouled out of play. Delabar last worked in the Yankees series. He came in on Friday night. First pitch he threw, Mark Teixeira knocked it out of the ballpark. Yankees scored 3 runs in that 8th inning and blew the game wide open. It was a 3-2 ball game at that point after 7. Delabar in relief of Ricky Romero. And Teixeira went after the first pitch. The roof is starting to close. Delabar strikes out Vicieda. Good start.
Serious diving stuff here. Splitter as it dives into the dirt, and get that swing started by starting it in the strike zone at the knees.
So the catcher, Tyler Flowers, he's had an infield hit and struck out twice. Blue Jays in extra innings this year, 4 and 5. The White Sox, they haven't fared much better. They're 5 and 6. 2-2 ball game. We are in the 10th. Delabar firing that fastball in there at 95.
Some kind of live arm, and he was a strikeout pitcher in Seattle this year, striking out 46 in 36 innings. He just got his 9th and 6th innings for the Blue Jays.
Interesting that Delabar would have more problems with right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters for the season. Where he gets that fastball inside. One thing Bruce Walton has done with him is worked on that glove side command. He's able to get that ball down and away a little more effectively now, and he has fared much better against the righties. Pulls that one off the plate. He's got that split finger pitch. It's very effective against lefty hitters, but he uses slider fastball to the righties and doesn't throw as many splits to the right-handed hitters.
I think that's a mistake that pitchers make. I think when a guy has a really good splitter or changeup, he should use it to hitters from both sides.
Boy, there's a good splitter. That goes all the way back to the wall, and Flowers is going to reach. Well, Delabar picks up his 2nd strikeout of the inning, but Flowers will reach on the wild pitch. And that was a great splitter.
It was a great splitter. It wasn't a great effort at blocking by Jeff Mathis. He doesn't drop to the knees to make sure he keeps this ball in front, tries to pick it with the backhand, and it just doesn't play out.
So Flowers is aboard on the strikeout. Gordon Beckham, number 9 hitter. Beckham's gone 0 for 3. White Sox don't have an awful lot of experience against Steve Delabar. Fastball in there. It's 0-2. Two runs on 7 hits for Chicago. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Blue Jays.
That time Mathis was ready for a pitch. That splitter in the dirt. It didn't quite land in the dirt, but that pitch looks awfully effective, picking up 3 strikeouts here in the inning.
But Delabar has a chance to do something that doesn't happen very often. Strike out 4 in 1 inning. That's a great splitter. A lot of depth to that pitch, and that was very effective. So he has 3 strikeouts, but still there are only 2 outs in the inning because of the wild pitch. Alejandro De Aza has struck out 3 times already. It falls behind 0-1.
I think you have to be excited about this bullpen now that has gotten so much better with these fine arms acquired. You have a chance to extend games, and maybe that's the key to being able to win in extra innings.
Boy, all of a sudden that splitter has dramatic depth to it.
To both right-hand hitters and left-handers. And a fastball at 95 doesn't hurt to set that pitch up.
The ball bounces into there, gets away from Mathis, and Flowers will move into scoring position. The second wild pitch of the inning.
And the second that, if you're talking to a catcher and how you feel like you should be able to handle pitches in the dirt and keep them in front, not handled well. Not dropping, committed to the knees and trying to keep everything down in place. I have to say of Aaron Sebia this year, that was a part of his game that he turned around so much better than he had been in the past.
2 balls and a strike. The go-ahead run at second base. Tyler Flowers struck out, reached on a wild pitch, and advanced on a wild pitch. How about that? Steve Delamar strikes out 4 in 1 inning of work here in the 10th. He's got that splitter working, and De Aza strikes out for the 4th time tonight. 2-2 will go to the bottom of the 10th. Game. The White Sox last May were here at Rogers Center. Corey Patterson against Gavin Floyd. It's a walk-off home run that wins it for the Blue Jays. That caps off a 5-for-5 day for Corey Patterson. He had a 5-hit game as he walked off the White Sox and Gavin Floyd. Blue Jays will have a chance to do that here in the bottom of the 10th, a 2-2 ball game. The pitcher for the White Sox will be Jesse Crain. Brett Myers had a very good inning of work. He struck out 2 in his 1 inning. And now it'll be Jesse Crain. A little bit different look to the White Sox bullpen than the last time the Blue Jays faced Chicago. They had 6 rookies in their bullpen. That's no longer the case. They've added Brett Myers, and Jesse Crain is off the disabled list. Omar Vizquel backs away from an inside slider. Vizquel drives it to right. Rios back, able to make a good play. He was shallow, and Vizquel hit it right on the button.
When Omar Vizquel has hit balls like this, very sharply hit over the course of the year, he hasn't had a whole lot of success. Gets this one over Rios' head, and the Blue Jays are in business.
Rios, a very good outfielder, was playing shallow, but got back quickly to make the catch. Jeff Mathis 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Jesse Crane is making his 10th appearance since coming off the disabled list on July 21st.
That's the pitch you don't want to miss when you're a hitter and you're trying to juice something late in the ball game. Jeff Mathis got it in that happy hit me zone.
Yeah, you just need one of those in an extra inning game and you can walk off. Got a good pitch, but fouled it straight back. 1-2. That's that big curveball. Jesse Crane misses with it. Crane's been on the disabled list twice this season. Most recently, he had a shoulder strain, and back in April, he went on the DL with a strained left oblique. Two balls, two strikes on the Blue Jays catcher, Jeff Mathis. Popped up and playable. First baseman Adam Dunn coming in from first makes the catch. 2 down. Anthony Gose. He scored a run back in the 3rd inning. I think when we last saw the White Sox, we were very much aware of how long they could go with that inexperienced bullpen. And to his credit, Kenny Williams went out and made a trade for Brett Myers, who was closing for Houston. And then, of course, they got Jesse Crane back. Philip Humber has been put down into that bullpen now. He was starting early in the season, and now he gives them another veteran arm in their pen.
He of the perfect game.
2-1. Good job by Gose. He lays off that low changeup. It's 3-1.
Got nice body control in this at bat. We've seen Gose on some breaking balls off speed pitches recently and just almost not having a chance, but he's setting himself up well here.
3-1 from Crane. Comes with that slider and gets the inside corner. 3-2.
I think that tells you a lot. The book right now on Anthony Gose, must say, hasn't shown that he can hit the curveball yet.
Late on the fastball. White Sox had Brian Little here all throughout the Yankee series. He's their advanced scout. And on Saturday, Anthony Gose struck out 4 times against Nova. And Nova had that great curveball working, and you can bet that Brian Little said, you know what? give him a steady diet of breaking pitches. Full count. There's another breaking pitch and missed the inside corner. No swing, says David Rackley down at third, so Ghost will take first with 2 outs.
Well, with that speed of Anthony Ghost, that could be a 2-base walk. And pretty rough if you're any kind of pitcher. You can see Crane shaking his head. I think he felt he had dropped a good curveball.
Rajai Davis was called out in the 5th inning with Ghost attempting to steal second. In fact, the throw from the catcher Flowers was late. Ghost had been waved safe, but Davis interfered with Flowers, according to the home plate umpire Brian Knight. Well, Jesse Crane's not taking much of a step toward first on that pickoff throw.
Adam Dunn, I think, got eaten up on that pickoff throw as well.
Dunn will get the majority of the work at first with Paul Konerko on the DL with the concussion. Ghost showed a break, and then Davis took a strike. Ghost didn't have a good break.
So what you can do on that first strike, can you allow to take a second strike if you see Ghost going? Gets on a lot more difficult in that regard. Saw Henderson Alvarez with his quick feet make a pickoff throw in his recent start, and a balk was called, a move that he's used all season long. You watch these guys with those quick feet, sometimes you'll see that balk call.
You have to take a definitive step toward first. Ghost got a good jump. It's a pitch out. Flowers' throw is in time. White Sox guessed right with Anthony Ghost. Tyler Flowers called for the pitch out and throws a strike to second. Ghost is caught for the second time. Tag on Anthony Ghost is high, but it looked like he might have beaten the tag. Steve Delamar came into the ballgame to start the 10th inning, and every time you go to the ballpark, there's a chance you're going to see something that you've never seen before. Well, Delamar had 4 strikeouts in the top of the 10th. That's the first time a Blue Jay pitcher has ever had 4 strikeouts in an inning. But it's the first time in baseball history a pitcher has had 4 strikeouts in an inning in extra innings. Unbelievable. 27th time there's been 4 strikeouts in an inning in the American League. 61st overall in the big leagues. But first time it's ever happened in extra innings.
Surprising. 61 times and not once extra innings. That's very good stuff.
Scott Carson coming up with that once again. Euclid pulls it foul. It's 0-2. Scott Carson is known in the booth as the king of all stats, and he delivers once again. He hits a home run in extra innings.
Didn't have any pine tar on the barrel, did he?
We're not going to check that. 0-2 to Euclid. He strikes out. How about 5 strikeouts in a row for Steve Delabar? So Adam Dunn will step to the plate. He tied it up in the 9th with a leadoff home run off of Casey Janssen. And he tied it up back in the 4th with a solo shot off of Carlos Villanueva. 2 home runs for Dunn. The second time this season he's had a multi-home run game. This in the top of the 9th off Casey Janssen. A 2-2 ball game.
Blue Jays decide to not give him a fastball to start things right here.
Ground ball. Cooper will shovel it to Delabar, and he barely kicked the base. He almost ran past first base, but he was able to extend and kick the bag just before he ran past it.
Good feed by David Cooper. Are you going to get that bag? It wasn't certain.
No, it wasn't. He was almost past it as his momentum took him just past it. He kicked it at the last minute. 2 down. Alex Rios takes a strike. Slider misses down and away. Delabar's got the best stuff we've seen so far this season since he's joined the Blue Jays.
You combine that, again, mid-90s fastball with that terrific splitter, and you got a feast of strikeouts ready to happen.
Strike 3 call. Steve Delabar has worked 2 innings in this game. He has 6 strikeouts. That gives him 14 since he's joined the Blue Jays. Rajay Davis, the leadoff batter, will start things off. He'll be followed by Kelly Johnson and Edwin Encarnacion, bottom of the 11th. Single runs for the Blue Jays in the 3rd and 7th. For the White Sox, they had single run in the 4th and 9th, and that's where we stand. Rajay Davis was at the plate when Anthony Gose was thrown out trying to steal second. Davis has gone 0 for 4 so far tonight. Pops up the first pitch. Shortstop Ramirez takes charge, makes the catch. Robin Ventura has come out of the dugout. Jesse Crane worked the 10th and gets the first batter here in the 11th. Left-hander Liam Septimo comes out of the bullpen. One of 3 left-handers the White Sox have. He's into the ball game to face Kelly Johnson when we come back. 2-2 game, bottom of the 11th. New pitcher for the White Sox is Liam Septimo, making his 12th appearance of the season. Septimo started out as a position player. He was a center fielder in the Arizona Diamondbacks system and then made the conversion to pitching with the Diamondbacks in 2008. He has been terrific for the White Sox since joining this team. He was called up on June 28th, and he's done a great job. Retired 13 in the last 14 he's faced. This is with the first pitch to Kelly Johnson. Septimo made his major league debut on June 29th at Yankee Stadium. Picked up his first big league strikeout in the 9th inning. He struck out A-Rod. Kelly Johnson has gone 0 for 3 tonight. He was hit by a pitch in that 3rd inning.
You got Septimo coming in to face some left-handed bats here, and lefties in limited opportunities so far this year, hitting just 111 against this lefty.
Tough right-hander on deck in Edwin Encarnacion.
Question is, does Septimo stay out there for Edwin?
Kelly Johnson takes a walk, and Septimo might be out of this ball game after just one batter. Robin Ventura has his bullpen working. He has yet to pop out. Here he comes out of the dugout, checking down to the bullpen to make sure they're ready down there, and there's the call for the right-hander. So Septimo walks Kelly Johnson on 4 straight wide ones, and he'll be out of the ball game. So Robin Ventura, that very deliberate walk to the mound, and not exactly what he wanted from his left-hander. He walks the only man he was assigned, and now it'll be Nate Jones, the right-hander, coming in with one out and a man at first to face Edwin Encarnacion. One out here at Rogers Center. We're in the bottom of the 11th. It's a 2-2 game. Edwin Encarnacion steps in the batter's box with a man at first and one out. Yesterday in the 4th inning, with a man on, Phil Hughes on the mound. He connects for his 30th home run of the season. Part of a 3-for-4 afternoon for Encarnacion.
And you can see that was a curveball that got slammed out for number 30. I'm not sure there's a pitch that Edwin can't handle.
He was thinking about walking him off right there. He had a good rip at that high breaking ball. Nate Jones making his 44th appearance of the season. He's been very good for Robin Ventura. Right-handers have hit him hard, .330. While left-handers have a 187 average. Jones has a very unusual delivery in it. He straightens that arm straight behind him, and there's a hesitation. It's got to be disruptive for hitters at the plate, I would think.
Yeah, you would think that would be tough on the right-hand hitters, and yet the stats you throw out there say they're seeing him pretty well.
First batters have been a problem for Nate Jones. They've hit .333 against him, 13 for 39.
Kelly Johnson does have 10 stolen bases on the year, so he's not foreign to the running game.
Down in the dirt, blocked by Flowers.
You just don't see this delivery very often, but out of the glove, that ball in the right hand goes straight back. And then it becomes fairly normal at that point, but that is an odd position. Most guys would like to get a little bit of a longer arm stroke downward. Almost gives you the impression he could have been a catcher at some stage of his life.
Jones is making his 44th appearance. And they have utilized Jones and Addison Reed, a couple of rookies, very confidently. 2-2, one out. Base hit to right field. Kelly Johnson taking a turn around second. He'll go to third. And Encarnacion delivers. A one-out single to right. First and third, one out. The winning run just 90 feet away.
Such a fine line between base hit and double play, and yet you just keep taking your chances, hit the ball sharply. Edwin's done it all year long and finds that hole. Doesn't matter where the pitch is, he seems to be able to get that barrel to it. And Kelly runs better than I think a lot of people realize for a big man. So now that winning run 90 feet away.
David Cooper had a single in the second. One out. Way inside.
I think this is one of those scenarios where you try to pick out a pitch. If it's the fastball, so be it. Get it early in the count and try to drive something immediately.
Escobar on deck. Outside, 2-0. Cooper has hit well against Chicago all year long. Coming into this game, he was 5 for 11 with a home run. He had a good series against the White Sox in Chicago. 2-0 count. Johnson at third, Encarnacion at first.
That's a move we may not see a year from now. Entirely designed to deceive base runners. Well, David Cooper's been getting a chance to bat in this cleanup spot, and this is what you should relish in this opportunity. I wonder if the White Sox are considering walking Cooper to load the bases and face Escobar.
Now, Donnie Cooper, the pitching coach, is out to talk to the entire infield now. Not only to visit with the pitcher, but he's delivering some instruction about the infield, and his last instruction was to Nate Jones. Cooper has a single against Jones back on June 6th when he was having that great series. He had a one-out single to center field.
I think for the White Sox, this is where you don't give in. You don't give a 2-0 fastball. You don't want to give the cripple pitch. If you walk him, so be it, to load the bases. Then you take your shot trying to get maybe the double play.
That hit off of Jones was part of a 3-hit night for Cooper. 2-0, one out. Off-speed pitch. He was guessing fastball and got the off-speed pitch.
Now that's exactly what they must have talked about at the mound. It is no time to give the cripple pitch.
The outfield is very shallow for Chicago. 3-1. Alex Rios in right picked up his 6th assist tonight. Viciado in left has 9 assists. He throws very well. 3-1 pitch. Foul back. Boy, you got to believe in this situation Jones is going to come with a breaking ball. No reason not to. 3-2. You basically have a base open, albeit it's second base.
It doesn't make any difference. Ultimately, it's only the man down at third that makes any difference here. Thing is, he's shown a couple of breaking balls off speed after falling behind. Is the fastball now in play?
You can see Flowers. See how he held that target up high and in? Maybe just putting that fastball in Cooper's mind, but there was not a pitch called. Flowers just stepped toward third and then stepped off the rubber. 3-2. Cooper lines it into right. That'll win it. Rios chopped the ball and David Cooper delivers a walk-off single to right. The Blue Jays will win it 3-2.
This feels awfully good for this Blue Jays team. They've won back-to-back games against teams that are in first place, the Yankees, and now the White Sox, a young club that is maybe learning to win at the big league level.
Now, David Cooper has had the flair for the dramatic. His 9th inning antics recently have allowed the Blue Jays to play extra innings, but here he delivers the walk-off base hit. His 10th RBI of the season wins it for the Blue Jays. And how about the effort by Steve Delabar? 2 innings of outstanding relief. He strikes out 6. He is the winner because of David Cooper.
You want to keep hitting cleanup? Well, keep showing that you're not afraid of that situation. And when you hang it out like that, there is no fear involved. Good looking at bat for David Cooper.
He gets that breaking ball on a 3-2 pitch, and he was sitting all over it. He rips it into right for the game winner. The Blue Jays walk off the White Sox in the first game of a 4-game series. We'll see you tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Connected coming right up. Jamie Thomas and Aranka Osman.